Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Unleashed. Today, we will talk about a very famous book called Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. In this episode, I will tell you the main ideas from every chapter in slow and clear English. At the beginning, the English will be very easy. I will use very simple words. Then, step by step, it will become a little more difficult. This way, you can learn and also see how much you understand at the end. This book is loved all around the world. It teaches us something very important. Being smart is not only about how fast you can think or how many facts you know. It's also about how well you understand your feelings and the feelings of other people. Daniel Goleman says our emotions, our feelings, guide our life. They help us build good relationships, do well at work, and stay healthy. When we understand our feelings, we can live happier and calmer lives. So, please listen until the end. You will learn new ideas, new words, and you will also feel your English grow stronger. Now, take a deep breath, sit back, and enjoy. Chapter 1. What is emotional intelligence? So, this book is about feelings. Daniel Goleman says that being smart is not only about knowing things. It is also about understanding feelings. Your own feelings and other people's feelings. Some people are good at maths or science. They can read fast. They can remember many facts. But sometimes, these people are not happy. They get angry quickly. They cannot work well with others. They have a strong mind, but a weak heart. Other people are different. They are not the best at school, but they are kind. They listen. They stay calm when things are hard. They have something very important. They have emotional intelligence. So, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence means being smart with feelings. It's not about books or numbers. It's not about languages. It's about using your heart and brain together. Daniel Goleman says there are 4 big parts of emotional intelligence. The first part is knowing your feelings. You can look inside and see what is happening. You can say, I feel happy, or I feel sad. You can also say, I feel angry, or I feel nervous. When you give your feeling a name, you start to understand yourself. The second part is controlling your feelings. This means you can stay calm. You don't let your anger control you. You don't cry or shout when it's not helpful. You can take a deep breath. You can wait. You can choose what to do next. The third part is understanding other people's feelings. You can see when someone looks sad or tired. You can hear their voice and know how they feel. Maybe they are quiet because they are shy. Maybe they are angry because they are worried. You can care about their feelings. You can say, "Are you okay?" This is called empathy. Empathy means feeling with another person. The fourth part is using feelings in a good way. Feelings can help you make good choices. When you are happy, you can learn better. When you are nervous, you can prepare more carefully. When you are sad, you can ask for help. Emotional people use feelings as tools, not as problems. These four parts work together. They help you know yourself. They help you understand others. They help you live peacefully with people around you. All right, now why is emotional intelligence important? Let's imagine a simple story. You are learning English. You speak in class, but you forget a word. Some classmates laugh a little. You feel hot and embarrassed. Now you have two choices. Choice one, you think, "I'm bad at English. I can't do this." You stop speaking. You feel small and sad. Your learning stops. Choice two, you think, "It's okay. I'm learning. Everyone makes mistakes." You smile, you keep speaking, and you finish your sentence. Which one do you think is better? Of course, the second one, right? This is emotional intelligence. You see your feeling, you calm yourself, and you use the feeling to keep learning. When you use emotional intelligence, you don't run away from problems. You face them slowly and kindly. You talk to yourself in a friendly way. You take small steps forward. Now, in school, teachers give tests. Tests show who can remember and think fast. That is the smart mind. But in life, we also need a smart heart. A smart heart helps us work with people, stay calm, and be happy. Let's look at two students. Student 1 is very quick with grammar. She answers every question fast, but when she makes one small mistake, she becomes angry. She feels bad and says, "I'm stupid." Student 2 is slower. Sometimes he forgets words, but he smiles. He says, "No problem. I will try again." He asks questions. He enjoys learning. After 1 year, Student 1 knows many rules but feels tired and happy. Student 2 speaks English with confidence and enjoys the class. Now, who is more successful? Well, probably student 2 because he uses emotional intelligence. He controls his feelings and keeps learning. So, Daniel Goleman says, being clever, being smart is good, but understanding your feeling is even more important. Emotional intelligence is useful everywhere, not only in school. At home, you can talk calmly when your family disagrees. You can listen to them and explain your ideas kindly. At work, you can stay calm when things go wrong. If someone makes a mistake, you can speak politely, not shout. People will respect and trust you. With friends, you can see when your friends feel sad. You can say, "I'm here for you." You can say, "I'm sorry" when you hurt someone. You can forgive when someone says sorry to you. These small actions make life smooth and happy. Emotional intelligence is like oil in a machine. It helps everything move easily. Now, some people think feelings are weak. They say, "Don't be emotional." But Daniel Goleman says that emotions are not bad. They are messages. They tell you something important. When you feel afraid, it means you need to be careful. When you feel sad, it means you lost something important and need comfort. When you feel angry, it means something feels unfair. When you feel happy, it means something good is happening. Feelings are part of being human. We cannot stop them, but we can listen to them. They are like colors in a painting. They make life beautiful and full of meaning. Now, even if no one taught you about feelings in school, you can learn anytime. It's like learning English. You can start today. Here are 3 easy ways. Notice your feelings every day. When you wake up, ask, "How do I feel today?" When you go to bed, ask, "What did I feel today? What made me happy or sad?" This small habit helps you know yourself better. Take a deep breath before you react. When something goes wrong, your phone falls or someone speaks rudely, stop. Breathe slowly. Count 1, 2, 3. Then think. This small pause helps your brain calm down. You can choose a better action. And be kind to yourself and to others. Talk to yourself the way you talk to a friend. Say, "It's okay. I can learn from this." If someone else makes a mistake, remember they are learning too. Kindness to yourself helps you be kind to others. Every time you practice these small steps, your emotional intelligence grows stronger. Just like learning a language, it takes time and practice. Now let's talk about the power of emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman found something amazing. People who can understand and control their feelings are usually happier and more successful. They can think clearly even when life is hard. They can make good decisions. They can try again after failing. When you are calm, your brain works better. When you are angry or afraid, your brain becomes confused. Let's look at one more story. You are taking an English test. You forget one word. You start to panic. Your mind feels empty. You cannot remember anything. That is fear controlling your brain. Now imagine you stop for a moment. You breathe slowly. You say to yourself, "It's okay. I know this. I just need a second." Then suddenly, you remember the word. It's the same brain, the same knowledge, but a different result. That is the power of emotional intelligence. Chapter 2. When smart people act foolish. The word foolish means doing something unwise or silly, even when you know better. Daniel Goleman tells us something surprising. Many people think that if a person is very smart, everything in life will be easy. They believe that high intelligence, which means strong thinking skills and good memory, automatically brings success, money, and happiness. But Goleman says this idea is not true. Yes, being smart helps you understand information and solve problems. But intelligence alone cannot teach you how to live well or how to behave kindly. Sometimes people with very high intelligence do not control their emotions. They may know many facts, but still make poor choices because their feelings are too strong or too confused. A foolish person might speak without thinking or act without calmness. So, when Goleman says smart people act foolish, he means that intelligence does not always stop people from doing unwise things. Stupid things. For example, imagine a scientist who can explain the universe but shouts angrily at his family every day. He understands physics, but he does not understand emotions. That is a kind of foolishness, not because he's bad, but because he has not learned to control feelings. Some people can pass hard exams, but fail to build strong relationships. They become angry easily or jealous of others' success. They may be proud and say, "I know everything." That attitude makes teamwork hard and friendship impossible. Attitude means way of thinking and behaving. Daniel Goleman reminds us that life is full of emotions. Disappointment, anger, fear, joy. If you can't manage those emotions, your intelligence becomes trapped. It cannot help you because the emotional storm is too strong. So Goleman teaches us an important lesson. People who can manage emotions can also handle failure. Failure means not succeeding at something. Maybe you tried to pass an exam and didn't. Maybe you wanted a job and didn't get it. Maybe you practiced English speaking but still made mistakes. Everyone fails sometimes. Failure is normal. It is part of life. But what happens after failure separates emotionally intelligent people from others. Some people feel angry or ashamed when they fail. They say, "I'm useless," or "I'll never try again." They give up quickly. Others feel sad for a short time, but then they think, "What can I learn from this?" They use failure as a teacher. They understand that mistakes are not the end. They are steps toward improvement. Let's return to our English example. You take a speaking test and forget half of what you wanted to say. You feel terrible. An ordinary reaction might be, "I'm bad at English." But an emotionally intelligent reaction would be, "Yeah, I made mistakes today, but next time I'll prepare better and stay calmer." That small difference in thinking changes everything. The second attitude, the second way of thinking, the second way of behaving leads to growth. It keeps your heart open and your motivation alive. So, Goleman says, failure does not break you when your emotions are strong and gentle at the same time. Let me say that again. Failure does not break you when your emotions are strong and gentle at the same time. So every emotion is a message. Anger says something feels unfair. Fear says be careful. Sadness says something important has changed. Joy says keep going. This feels good. If you listen to the message, emotions can help you. If you ignore or fight them, they can hurt you. Now, when we grow older, we are expected to become more mature, which means calmer, wiser, and kinder. But age alone does not guarantee maturity. Some people stay emotional children their whole life. Others learn emotional control even when they are young. Goleman explains that emotional intelligence is like a muscle. You can make it stronger through practice. You practice emotional maturity when you pause before replying to something angry. Forgive someone instead of staying mad. Smile even when the situation is hard. Talk kindly to yourself when you fail. Every time you choose peace over anger, your emotional muscle grows. Chapter 3: The Brain and Emotions. Daniel Goleman explains how our brain works when we feel emotions. He shows that our brain is not one simple thing. It has different parts, and these parts work together, sometimes calmly and sometimes not so calmly. Some parts of the brain help us think slowly and carefully. Other parts act very fast when there is danger or surprise. When we understand how these parts work, we can understand why we feel what we feel and why we sometimes lose control. Daniel Goleman says that our brain has two important parts that work together. The first part is the emotional brain. This part feels quickly. The second part is the thinking brain. This part thinks carefully and slowly. These two parts have very different jobs. Let's learn about them in simple words. The emotional brain is small but very strong. It lives deep inside your head. Its job is to protect you. You can think of it like a little alarm or a guard dog inside your head. When something happens suddenly, a loud sound, a scary face, or a strong feeling, your emotional brain reacts very fast. It does not stop to think. It just says, danger, be careful. Then your body changes. Your heart beats fast. You breathe quickly. Your body gets ready to move or run. Your hands may sweat. Your face may get red or hot. You don't decide to do these things. Your emotional brain does them automatically. It is trying to keep you safe. For example, you are walking down the road and a car comes too close. you jump back quickly without thinking. That is your emotional brain helping you. The emotional brain is important because it protects you. But sometimes it reacts too fast, even when there is no real danger. Sometimes your emotional brain makes a mistake. It sends a danger signal even when everything is okay. Maybe someone says something you don't like, and suddenly you feel angry. Maybe you make a small mistake, and your body feels fear as if something terrible happened. That means your emotional brain is working too fast. It is like a fire alarm that rings even when there is no fire. When this happens, you may say or do things you don't really mean. You might shout at a friend, close the door hard, or send an angry message. Later, you feel sorry and think, I wish I didn't do that. Goleman calls this moment an emotional takeover. That means your feelings take control of your brain for a short time. It's like your emotions are driving the car, and your thoughts are sitting quietly in the back seat. In that moment, you act from emotion, not from calm thinking. Okay, now let's talk about the second part of your brain, the thinking brain. The thinking brain is at the front of your head, just behind your forehead. This part helps you think, plan, and make choices. If the emotional brain is like a fast alarm, the thinking brain is like a calm teacher and a wise friend. The thinking brain takes time before it decides what to do. It helps you ask yourself questions like, is this really a problem? What is the best way to answer? Should I speak or stay quiet? What will happen if I do this? The thinking brain helps you stop, think, and choose. For example, you are angry because someone interrupted you. Your emotional brain wants to shout, "Stop talking!" But your thinking brain says, "Wait, maybe they didn't mean it. Let's stay calm." If you listen to your thinking brain, you speak politely and you keep the friendship safe. The best situation is when both parts of the brain work together, your emotional brain and your thinking brain. Your emotional brain gives you energy and passion. Your thinking brain gives you control and patience. When they work together, you feel balanced. You can show your feelings, but also stay calm. You can care deeply, but still think clearly. This is what emotional intelligence really means: feeling and thinking together. If only the emotional brain leads, you may act too fast and make mistakes. If only the thinking brain leads, you may think too much and never act. Good balance makes you a complete person, warm but also wise. Now, when your emotional brain reacts, your body reacts too. They are connected like a team. When you feel scared, your heart beats faster. Your body gets ready to move or run. Your stomach feels tight. Your mouth feels dry. These body changes are very old. They helped early humans stay safe in the wild. But now, many things that make us scared are not real dangers. We worry about exams, work, or people, not wild animals. Still, our body reacts in the same way. That's why emotional intelligence is important. It helps you calm your body and tell yourself, it's okay, I'm safe. When you do that, your thinking brain wakes up again. You can solve problems calmly and wisely. Now, Daniel Goleman says, we can train our brain to stay calm. Here are some very simple ways to do it. First, breathe slowly and deeply. Take a big breath in and out. This tells your body, I'm safe. Your emotional brain starts to relax. Then, your thinking brain comes back to work. Second, pause before reacting. When something makes you upset, count slowly. 1, 2, 3. This short pause gives your thinking brain time to take control. Third, name your feelings. Say quietly to yourself, I feel angry, or I feel nervous. When you name the feeling, it moves from your heart to your head. It becomes smaller and easier to manage. Fourth, use kind thoughts. Tell yourself gentle words like, it's okay, or I can handle this. These words calm your brain and make you stronger. So, what is the main idea of this chapter? Your brain has two parts: an emotional brain, which reacts fast and protects you, and a thinking brain, which thinks carefully and helps you decide. Sometimes your emotional brain takes over, but emotional intelligence helps you bring balance back. When both parts work together, you can stay calm, think clearly, and act wisely even when life feels hard. Daniel Goleman says this balance is the secret of strong people. They are not cold or emotionless. They feel deeply, but they know how to use their feelings, not fight them. When your heart and your mind work together, you can make better decisions. You can build better friendships. You can live a calmer and happier life. This is the real beauty of emotional intelligence. Feeling and thinking together. Chapter 4. Self-awareness. Daniel Goleman now talks about something very important: self-awareness. Self-awareness means knowing what you feel and understanding why you feel that way. It is like turning on a small light inside your mind. When the light is on, you can see clearly what is happening in your heart. When the light is off, everything feels dark and confusing. Every person feels many things during the day: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, excitement, boredom. These feelings are normal, but sometimes we feel them without noticing. We only know that we are in a bad mood, and we don't know why. Self-awareness helps us stop for a moment and ask, what exactly am I feeling right now? If you can name your feeling, if you can say, I feel nervous because there is a test tomorrow, or I feel lonely because my friend didn't call me, then you already show emotional intelligence. When you can name your emotion, you take the first step toward controlling it. If you don't understand your emotion, it can control you instead. You may feel angry, but not know the reason. You might shout at someone or stop talking or cry. Later, you may think, why did I do that? That happens because your feelings were in charge. They were driving the car, and your thinking mind was asleep in the back seat. Self-awareness wakes the driver again. You take back the steering wheel of your mind. You can say, I'm not really angry at my friend. I'm tired and stressed from work. When you understand the reason, the feeling becomes smaller and easier to handle. Daniel Goleman says that when we name our emotions, they lose some of their power. The moment you say, I feel disappointed or I feel worried, your brain starts to calm down. It's very different from shouting, crying, or breaking something. Words organize feelings. Silence lets them grow bigger. Let's imagine two people after a long, difficult day. Person A says nothing. They just feel angry and walk around unhappily. The anger stays inside and becomes heavier. Person B stops for a moment and says, I'm angry because the day was stressful and I need to rest. After saying it, they breathe more easily. The feeling becomes lighter. This simple act of naming feelings is a very important skill of self-awareness. Now, you can build self-awareness like a muscle, little by little every day. Try asking yourself 3 small questions. What am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling it? What can I do about it? You can ask these questions in the morning, in the middle of the day, and before you go to sleep. If you write your answers in a small notebook, you will start to see patterns. You will notice what usually makes you happy and what makes you tired or angry. This knowledge helps you make better choices. Now, self-awareness also means noticing emotions before they become too strong. It's easier to calm a small wave than a big one. When you start to feel nervous, say to yourself, I'm beginning to feel nervous. I will take a breath. If you wait until you are shaking, it will be much harder to calm down. The earlier you notice a feeling, the easier it is to guide it. For example, when a classmate interrupts you, you can smile and let it go. If you wait until you are very angry, you might shout or say something hurtful. So, emotional awareness is also emotional timing, knowing when a feeling starts. Your body gives clues about your emotions. Sometimes your body knows before your mind does. When you are angry, maybe your shoulders feel tight. When you are nervous, your stomach feels strange. When you are sad, your body feels heavy. When you are happy, your body feels light. Try to listen to these signals. They are part of self-awareness too. You can say, my shoulders are tight. Maybe I'm angry. Or, my stomach hurts, maybe I'm worried. Once you notice, you can take a deep breath or stretch your muscles to help the emotion pass. Everyone has a voice inside their head. That is, the words we say to ourselves. This inner voice can be kind or unkind. If you fail a test, do you say, "I'm stupid," or do you say, "It's okay, I will try again"? Self-awareness helps you hear that voice clearly and change it if it's negative. So, next time you catch yourself saying something harsh like, "I'll never learn English," stop and ask, "Would I say this to my best friend?" If the answer is no, then don't say it to yourself. Speak kindly to your own heart. Your words have power, even when they are silent. Goleman calls self-awareness the foundation of emotional intelligence. A foundation is the bottom of a building. Everything else stands on it. Without self-awareness, you can't really control your feelings because you don't even know what they are. You can't understand others' feelings if you don't understand your own. And you can't use emotions wisely if you can't see them clearly. So this first step, knowing yourself, is the base for all the others. It is the foundation of all the others. Here are a few examples to make it clear. Example 1. Your boss gives you extra work. You feel angry, but you don't know why. After thinking for a moment, you realize you're not angry about the task. You're tired and hungry. You take a short break, eat something, and the anger disappears. It goes away. Example 2. A friend doesn't reply to your message. You feel hurt. Later, you notice your thought, "They don't care about me." You stop and say, "Maybe they're busy. I'll wait," before judging. The hurt becomes smaller. Example 3. Someone in your family criticizes you. You feel sad and quiet. You ask yourself, "Why am I so sad?" You realize it's not just their words. You already felt stressed, and the comment added more pressure. Now that you know the reason, you can explain it calmly or take time to relax. In every situation, self-awareness helps you choose peace instead of reaction. Self-awareness gives you choice. Instead of living like a passenger on a bus, pushed by every emotion, you become the driver who knows where to go. When you understand your feelings, you can take care of them. You can rest when you're tired. You can talk when you're sad. You can breathe when you're nervous. You can celebrate when you are proud. You no longer fight your emotions. You listen to them. They become friends instead of enemies. Goleman says, when you know yourself, you can guide yourself. This is the quiet secret of emotional intelligence. Chapter 5. Self-control. Self-control means managing your emotions, not letting them control you. It is like holding the steering wheel of a car. The car is your emotion, strong and full of energy. If you don't hold the wheel, it will crash. If you hold it gently and wisely, it can take you anywhere. We all feel angry, afraid, or upset sometimes. That's normal. But people with strong emotional intelligence learn to pause before they react. Chapter 6. Motivation. Motivation means the energy to keep going even when things are hard. It is the fire inside you that says, "Don't stop." Goleman says that people with high emotional intelligence are not controlled by moods. They can create motivation even when they don't feel like working. They ask themselves, "Why am I doing this?" The why gives meaning. For example, maybe you want to learn English to travel, to get a new job, or to connect with people from other countries. When you remember your reason, you feel stronger again. Motivation grows from small success. When you finish a chapter, when you understand a new word, when you can finally watch a short English video without subtitles, celebrate it. Say to yourself, "Good job." That positive feeling becomes new energy for the next step. Daniel Goleman reminds us that emotions and motivation work together. When we feel hopeful and curious, we learn faster. When we feel bored or hopeless, we learn slower. So take care of your mood like you take care of a plant. Give it light. Give it small wins, and it will grow. Motivation is not a secret gift. It's something you build every day with patience, purpose, and kindness to yourself. Chapter 7. Empathy. Empathy means understanding how another person feels. It's when you can look at someone and feel what they might be feeling inside. Daniel Goleman says empathy is the heart of emotional intelligence because it connects people. When you understand others' feelings, you can communicate with kindness instead of judgment. Think about this. Your friend looks quiet in class. You could just keep studying, or you could ask, "Are you okay? You look a little tired." Maybe they smile and say, "Yeah, just a bad day." In that moment, you showed empathy. Empathy is also important in language learning. When you speak English with someone from another country, remember that they might be nervous too. If you see they are struggling for a word, don't laugh or correct them too fast. You can wait and help gently. For example, if a person says, "I go yesterday," you can smile and say kindly, "Oh, you mean I went yesterday." That small kindness builds confidence and friendship. Empathy means listening, watching, and caring. It helps people feel safe, and safety opens hearts and minds. Now let's talk about social skills. Social skills are how we interact and connect with others. People with good social skills know how to listen, speak politely, and solve problems calmly. Goleman explains that social skills are not about talking a lot. They are about building good relationships. It's the way you say "thank you," "sorry," or "I understand." It's how you work together, not against each other. Let's look at an English classroom again. Two students are doing a speaking task. One listens carefully while the other speaks. They take turns, smile, and help each other find words. They make mistakes, but they keep going with respect. That is social skill. Good social skills make teamwork enjoyable. At work, they help you handle customers. At home, they make family life peaceful. In friendships, they create trust. Goleman says social skill is the visible face of emotional intelligence. Visible means easy to see. It is where empathy, self-control, and awareness meet. All right, let's remember what we learned from this book. Emotional intelligence means knowing your feelings, managing your feelings, staying motivated, understanding others, and building positive relationships. When you study English or face challenges in life, emotional intelligence will be your quiet friend. It will remind you to stay patient, to forgive yourself, and to keep moving forward with hope. Daniel Goleman's book teaches us that true intelligence lives not only in the mind, but also in the heart. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of English Unleashed. I'm Tom, and until next time, stay calm, stay kind, and keep growing, both in English and in emotional intelligence. Bye for now.